Hello there, I'm Sean Greasley and welcome to another edition of our DirectX integrated with C++ tutorials. In this tutorial I will be briefly describing the translation process within DirectX. We run our application like so. I apologize for the speed running at the same time as this shared desktop software, but the idea of the translation process is that when you launch the application, the actual shape moves, not the camera itself. So we're staying in the same camera focus, it's just that the shape is actually translating itself, if you'd like. It's moving across the x-axis, losing 0.1 values a second of a float value, and also it's gaining 0.1 z coordinates as well as it gets smaller. So this is what we're going to have a look at how to implement within DirectX. As you can see, we have defined three float values here. We've got a float global value rectangle x as -20, global rectangle y as 0, and global rectangle z as 5. We scroll down even more, everything looks very similar as our previous tutorial on the rectangle, apart from the render procedure. This is the only difference in which you will need to make your object move. So once we've defined the viewpoint, the camera angles, we need to construct a translation matrix to move the rectangle. Okay, what we have here, we have the Direct 3D extensions matrix. We then have a variable name of our choice, which we've chosen to label translate map. The next line here, Direct 3D extensions matrix translation. This is the translation function which translates a shape. What you do here, you use the address of the variable you have defined here. You then specify an x coordinate, a y coordinate, and a z coordinate in which your shape will reside. You then point the transformation using your transformation map to the global pointer Direct 3D device. Then each iteration through the render loop, we're changing the x value and the z value. So every iteration the z value adds 0.1 to it, and also the z value adds 0.1. So as it's moving across the screen, it's also getting smaller as it moves. And that is how to translate shapes within DirectX. You can also change maybe y coordinates to make it go up and down, anything you like here. So update the rectangle's coordinates here so it calls upon each iteration through the loop. You may also add an if statement. If the z coordinate is more than 2 or less than 0, then reverse this. So it will act kind of like a ping pong sort of manner. So have a play around with these functions, but do remember when using translations, you set a variable to the Direct 3D extensions matrix object. You then use the translation function to call your coordinates and send this information off to the device. So that is how to translate things within DirectX. I've been Sean Greasley. Thank you for listening, and good night.